Greetings viewers, Eric the Car Guy, also known as ETCG1. And hey, on ETCG1 we start things off with, hey, if it's your birthday, happy birthday. Please enjoy this digital cake I got for you. Well, I'm not on camera today because, well, I'm sick of looking at me when I edit, and maybe you are too. I think the star of the show, well, certainly the star of the show of this video is going to be the intake manifold that I have for the Type R that I just got back from LHT Performance. Now, they've been on a hiatus from doing this type of thing, and let's face it, B-Series have kind of become out of fashion. Now it's all K-Series this, K-Series that, eBay Turbo, we make all kinds of power. What do we need a B-Series for? I'm keeping the B-Series in the Type R. I'm supercharging it. And because I'm supercharging it, that means I'm going to be heating up the air that's going into the engine. I'll be compressing it. And as a result, you know, that can create some inconsistencies because hot air is not as efficient as cold air, not as dense as cold air. So in other words, there's kind of less of it. And therefore, the power that you get out of hot air is not going to be nearly as good as cold air. Hence the reason I sent my intake manifold off to LHT Performance. I still haven't gotten the Supercharger back yet. I've been trying to get a hold of them. Hopefully I'll get a hold of them soon and be able to find out what's going on with that. They seem to think it was okay, but this is the intake manifold that bolts to that. Now these two passages here are actually pass-throughs for some of those fasteners that hold the supercharger to this. But what's really important about the modification that they did here, I'm going to throw up some footage of this intake before I send it off, and you'll see that none of this was here. Not just this cool logo, but they cut off this entire top and they added cooling. Remember I said heat is the enemy? Well, this is the part that I think is super cool. So this is the nitty-gritty of what they did, and they installed these coils for a heat exchanger. So this will have coolant running through it, and I'm not sure if it loops around on one side or not, but there's obviously an inlet and an outlet. I don't think it matters which is which, but this is what's inside. So the supercharger is going to bolt on right here. It's going to shove air through here, and then it's eventually going to make its way into the engine. But it has to go past these coils first. These coils will be connected to its own separate cooling system. It's going to be sort of a closed circuit deal run by an electric water pump, having something like a radiator out in front of everything. But this will make sure that the air going into this engine stays cool and consistent. And that's going to make the supercharger really work on this engine, because I'm not lowering the compression. I'm not really doing anything to the engine at all. So really, I'm just going to be shoving more air into it. So I'll be kind and cool it down a bit. Now, I do have one concern here, and I won't really know if it's a real concern. Oh, here's a shot down through the runners. I don't know if you can see down in there enough. But yeah, so that's going to cool the air going through these ports. All right, where was I? Oh, the concern that I had. So the concern that I have is these hose outlets. I kind of wish they were AN fittings that I could put like a 90-degree or something on. I don't know where the firewall sits here, because I know the intake manifold is up against the firewall, but I don't know how close it is. So I'm curious if I have enough bend in these hoses, which it kind of looks like I'm going to angle one this way and maybe one angled this way. But hopefully I've got enough room and angle to where I'm not really interfering with the firewall. I figure if I've got at least that much space, I'll be good. Also, there's an angle here, so it's going to be angled up a little bit. So that may also help. But that's the only concern I have. In addition to that, I got a new throttle cable. This one is for a GSR. He also hooked me up with a throttle body, 68 millimeter. This is also a GSR part. And the reason for this is because apparently once you get all of this stuff mounted on here, there's some difficulty as far as cable routing, throttle cable routing to this throttle body. So he was able to hook me up with this one, and I'm grateful to have it. The other thing that they did for me, LHT that is this is, I think they call this the S-tube. So this is what the throttle body will bolt to down in here, and then it bolts to the supercharger. And the supercharger, like I said, so the supercharger inlet, in essence, goes through the throttle body, through here, down into the supercharger, into here, and then out into the engine. But you could see that there's been a little porting, a little polishing that's gone on down inside here. Now, one of the things that John from LHT mentioned to me, he said that As far as trying to do any porting or anything inside the supercharger housing where this part connects, it's kind of useless. There's no real gains from that. So I'll share that with you that he told me. But outside of that, just a few other little bits. I think a throttle cable bracket to go along with this was what I got. But those are the parts that I got from LHT. I thought this was awesome. I posted this on social media, said, hey, do you want me to make a video? Here it is. Now, these guys, like I said, have been on a hiatus from doing this for a bit. He's talking about starting up again in August. All of this stuff cost me about $1,200. He could have been being real kind to me, to be honest. I mean, these are some really nice welds. This was art. I got this out of the box and was just like, ah. Anyway, super excited about this, but I hate doing this to you. The Type R is together. Now that I've got the exhaust and everything sorted out, I am in no rush to tear it into pieces and start doing this stuff. I'm gonna wait till the weather turns bad. You know, to be honest, I might even wait till next year. We'll see what happens, but I'm gathering up my parts now, and hopefully on the other side of this, we'll have one wicked Type R that will run with any K-Series power Type R. I've had people tell me that, you know, the K-Series is phenomenal. It really changes the car and all that, but I think the Supercharger going onto the B-Series is the great equalizer. That's my thought on it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you have a Type R? Have you supercharged a B-Series, and what have your experiences been? Have you used one of these heat exchangers from LHT Performance, all that stuff? All this will be linked in the description, and you know, just let me know your thoughts. Let me know your experiences if you've had any. And yes, I will be running larger injectors with this. I think it was the RDX injectors that I think are just about a direct bolt-on for this that make this work. And also I'm upgrading the fuel pump. Full video on my plans for the Type R in the description. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this and your experiences, even more so, what you've done with these engines, and let me know what you think. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you have automotive questions, air@thecarguy.com, also linked in the description along with additional info, including that video I mentioned about the stuff I'm doing to the Type R. Thank you so much for watching today. Be safe, have fun, stay dirty. I'll see you next time.